So we will start our meeting, and just for information, the meeting will be recorded this evening. So, notice of the meeting. Public notice of the meeting is given in accordance with Schedule 12, paragraph 10, little 2 of the Local Government Act 1972. Moving on to agenda item number 1, apologies for absence.
I've received apologies for absence from Councillors Brown, Dalrymple, Shackleton and Wall.
Can we have someone to just, Councillor Hall, a seconder, Councillor McLaren, all in favour of accepting those apologies? Thank you. Agenda item number 2, declarations of interest and request for dispensation. To declare any disclosure of pecuniary interest or any other interest which members may have in the following agenda items and consider any dispensation request. Do we have any declarations or requests, members? No? Thank you. External reports. To receive reports on behalf of external bodies if present. I don't see anyone here.
No, I didn't notify.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, public participation session. And I will suspend standing orders for 15 minutes to allow members of the public to ask questions, make statements or give evidence about business items on the agenda, limited to 3 minutes per person. Does anyone have anything that they would like to come up and say? No? Councillor McLaren, if you would like to approach or pick the mic, whichever way you want to do it.
I'll stand because I can hold these. Right. Fiona can't be here tonight, but she sent me an email and asked me to read this out to you all. My apologies for not being at the meeting. Sadly, work commitments prevented my attendance. However, I very much wanted to make my feelings known about the placement of the new cemetery. Apart from the fact that North Yorkshire County Council are yet again taking another area of recreational green space for their use, the positioning of the proposed site is not, in my mind, suitable. A cemetery needs to be accessible and safe, somewhere where people can visit at any time of day or night, and on a bus route for those who are unable to drive, especially the elderly. It's imperative that people are not faced with obstacles at a time when they are at their most vulnerable. Speaking from a personal perspective, having lost my son at the age of 17, I have spent many hours visiting the cemetery on Elridale. I've always felt safe, even after dark. I needed to visit at all hours of the day, sometimes 3 times in one day, which is why I have such a concern that the choice of site is considered from the perspective of those who have lost their loved ones, and not just the choice of site because of a free bit of grass available to use. When somebody dies, no matter what the circumstances, the emotional wrench and sometimes irrational thoughts and fears are often paramount in the choice of a plot. You want somewhere beautiful for them, maybe be faced with a sea or close to another family member, things that don't matter in most cases, but to those especially those who have died, but are hugely important to those who are left behind. Once, when I was visiting my boy, I was greeted by a resident whose house was just over the wall. He softly said to me, "Don't worry, love, we'll keep our eye on him." Totally irrational, but so very comforting for me. So wherever the new proposed site is, it should be considered, greatly considered. It should have residential properties close by, access to a bus route, and be a calm, open space that people are comfortable visiting at any time of the day. Thank you. So that was Fiona. And then I'm sure you all saw the email from Rose Rylands regarding the proposed Calabec building. So when we found out, obviously, that it wasn't going to be, I rang her again, and she was ecstatic, to say the least. And she's really wanted to come tonight, but she's poorly. So I said, well, she wanted to say this. And I said, well, you don't have to go. If you want to email me, I'll read it out for you. So this is from Rose Rylands. To the Council, I would firstly like to say how utterly relieved I was to get the news that the proposal to build on the field above California Beck has been stopped. I know many of you will have received my email expressing my shock, distress and disbelief concerning this. So I just want to thank all involved, especially Councillor Neil Swanwick for his robust efforts and representation for Whitby at NYC to have this project overturned. I thank also Mayor Sandra Turner for her hard work and efforts in this case, and Councillors McLaren and Blackwell also for their efforts, concern and for their empathy and moral support during this time. As I've already stated, I think we all know that Whitby does not need any more new houses. Many people now cannot even sell their houses, but they continue to build. On towards Stainsacre on the Broomfield site, which is going to be enormous. The new houses that have been built on Green Lane look like something out of the communist era, stark and ugly, and surely could have been architecturally much more in keeping with the character and heritage of Whitby, especially so close to the Abbey. Pollution in Stainsacre Beck continues unabated. I would urge any councillor to take a walk down Larpool Lane and into the woods on the bend at Dangerbank, where you will see Stainsacre Beck joining the Golden Grove Beck. Go and see the difference in the watercolour. Look at the filth and froth coming down from Stainsacre and the waterworks at Low Horsker. I don't know how much the Broomfield sites has contributed to this. I have reported it to Yorkshire Water, but so far nothing. We simply don't have the infrastructure in the town either. Doctors, hospitals, schools and roads to support the sheer volume of both visitors and new housing anymore. I would urge Council to continue to object to all or any new proposals for planning and building of any more new housing around Whitby now. The great strength of Whitby, and that which draws so many visitors annually, is its charm and beauty. Often what is not done is so much better in the long term. I think it's called preservation. I have further comments regarding Baxter Gate, which I'll keep for another time. However, as far as the fields above Calabeck is concerned, I propose that this whole area will be greatly improved and enhanced by extending the nature reserve right up the field, thereby creating a haven for wildlife and the well-being of townsfolk for generations to come, especially here in East Whitby, where children have so little area to cycle or play or to come to know nature, a place for people to relax and de-stress. I believe this could be achieved through a series of grants and the assistance of the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, tree planting cooperatives and many other organisations. It would also alleviate worsening air pollution and offset the noise and light pollution of the industrial estate. There could be ponds which would benefit birds, animals, attract dragonflies and insects, all of which are vital to biodiversity and the health of both land and people. Winding pathways with little signs to inform what is wrong, a place to find peace and fresh air away from the increasing traffic congestion and noise. I don't know if the farmer has sold the field to the council, but if not, I would urge council to raise the funds to buy this tract of land and to have the vision in heart to create something that could be truly beautiful and nourishing to both us and our non-human family. This area is already a very fragile wildlife corridor, and I believe it would greatly enhance the whole area. Many thanks for listening, and I hope you will take this to heart and have the depth of conscience and compassion to continue the fight for our few remaining green spaces and the wonderful heritage of Whitby. Kind regards, Rose Adams.
Thank you, Councillor McLaren. I think just to make a point that both your comments that you've read out tonight, we do empathise with everything that's been said from both people. And thanks for writing in actually, because this is the avenue, the first avenue to contact us. And there is a lot of things there that should be looked at, certainly. So thank you. No further comments from members of the public, so we'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is the minutes, and it's to confirm as an accurate record the minutes of the following 4 council meetings. So 5A, the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 4th of December 2025, may I for approval and signing. Shall I read them out all in block, members? You're happy for me to go through this? 5B, minutes of the Hannah Art Gallery Committee held on the 3rd of December 2025 for information only. Minutes of the Human Resource meeting held on the 4th of December 2025 for information only. And minutes of the Planning and Licensing Committee on the 4th of December 2025 for information only. So if members are...
Question.
Councillor, yes?
5.3, the Hannah Art Gallery minutes.
Yeah.
There's a reference to the chair curator's report. Could that be attached?
Yeah.
Because the minutes don't say anything. They just said that there was a report, but we don't know what the report was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's noted, Councillor Steve Smith.
So we'll go to the next. Attach that report to show that.
Any other comments? Would someone move that the minutes of the oh, sorry, Councillor. A seconder? Thank you, Councillor McLaren. All in favour? Councillor Wood. Any against? Or an abstention? Yeah? Yeah. I think so. Thank you. I'll just sign those and make some Thank you. Agenda item number oh, apologies. Apologies. Can someone move that we receive? Do you want to receive the other minutes on block? Yeah. Councillor McLaren moving. Have I got a second? Councillor Bolton. All in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, members. Agenda item number 6. This is the review of standing orders and consideration to an amendment suggested by councillors to add to the model of standing orders. So you all should have had a copy of this. Obviously we're looking at this evening, but I would ask members to be mindful that we do have a new town clerk starting next month, so it would be useful that we hold off on these to have this input on these and make sure everything runs in a smooth line. We also then need to then work on terms of reference and the finance areas. So we need to ensure, once we do this, we need to be sure it's correct because we can't revisit for 6 months. So I've said enough, so I'll open it to anyone else who's got comments. I would just like to say as well, before I move on, that there has been a lot of work put into the amendment, so thank you to all members who put their time in on this. So I'll open it up to the floor.
I think we should wait and do it later rather than do it tonight.
Yeah, wait until the new.
Until we get the new draft. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you moving that?
Yes,
We've got a seconder with Councillor Alphabet. Before we do that, does anybody else, before I go to the vote, does anyone have any comments? Councillor Blackburn. Can you speak into the mic? Because it's
Is it on? No, you just need to switch it on.
Okay, we could go through and do the amendments and then just get the clerk to approve them.
no, that would mean that we're accepting if we...
Okay, so it would be fine if we did it.
Am I correct in saying that? Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Goldman, did you also, Councillor Steve Smith wanted to come in?
I don't see why the standing orders should change because we've got a new clerk.
I think really it's just more a point that if he's got something to add to them and maybe expand a little bit, we don't know how the new clerk is going to work. And really, we've got a chance for a new, fresh start here. And I think rather than rush it and live with regrets, for the sake of after the holidays, we could really start things moving in a really solid manner.
Yeah, I think there's another point as well, is that obviously standing orders is going to be the basis of all the future governance documents that are done.
Yeah.
And the new town clerk is going to be leading on that. Because once you've done your standing orders, then you do your financial regulations, then you're going to be looking at all the terms of reference. And it seems a little bit preemptive to agree this part of it without him having seen it. And for those of you who weren't on human resources, he's actually already taken a full governance review with his council that he's leaving to come here. So he does have a lot of experience in doing governance reviews, so I'm sure he will have some input into it.
Absolutely, and I mean the thing is here, we're already up and running by the work that's been done on the draft amendment, so we've got the document really to get to grips with.
Yeah.
I think it would be sensible and paying due diligence to just hold off that little bit.
Yeah, we have got a
But
proposal.
we have got proposal from seconders. Councillor Mayor, did you want to speak?
If we're going to push it back through until January.
Could I just ask you to use the mic, please?
I was going to say, if we're going to push this back until January, would it be possible for everyone to give them a good hard look before then?
Well, that's
So
what I was
January, we're not going to be asking, you know,
It's giving time, Councillor Raymond, for that point exactly. Everybody really needs to go through these and have their input, because once we've done this, they've got to be right. We don't want to find ourselves in a position where we have throughout this last year, where things have been in conflict. So, absolutely. Councillor Gold.
I was just going to make the same point. I think it's an important point because you know, at least some of us will have a bit of time after Christmas to look at them, and that's the time I'd like to be able to spend more time, and frankly, I have time to look at all of this in great detail well before the next meeting.
I think it's a very valid point, because we're all on the run up to Christmas, so we'll have much more time once we get that behind us. And let's get this right, because we've got a chance now to start moving forward really positively. So we've had a mover and a seconder. If everybody's okay with that, no further comments from the floor, I'm going to go to the vote. Okay, all in favour? And that's unanimous. Thank you that we referred somebody in TownDevelopment. Thank you for that. And as I said, thank you for all the work that's been put in on that. Moving to agenda item number 7, finance. So 7A, approval of paid expenditure transactions up to and including the 12th of December 2025. And members have had that circulated.
It's actually a bit later than that. It's actually the 215th.
Right. As you've heard the clerk say that you are up to date to the...
Oh, sorry. It was up to the 12th.
Oh, right.
I thought it didn't happen.
Right, it's the 12th. So members have got that.
Yes, yes. That's
Any comments, Councillor O'Hara?
On the facilities page, facilities management, the water charges.
Can you talk into
The
them?
water charges are 23,000, but the to date and the draft budget are projected at 2,000.
I think you're talking about the budget, not the approval of payments.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that's to come later.
Any question, Councillor Manassi?
Sorry, can't get used to this. Just one question really, with regards to the family card payments. The audit report that we received last time suggested that the Pan Outbound Trust should actually pay for anything that's related to exhibitions, hanging systems, marketing and merchandise. And yet on this account we've got 4 payments that relate to merchandise. Is that something that we're going to sort out in the future?
Yeah. Right, the problem is that the Pan Am do not have their own card. So if you're ordering stuff online, you need a card. So that will be something I think for the new clerk to sort out.
We have discussed it, but they do need to count their own cards.
Yeah. And then everything can go straight through their bank account and we're not having to spend extra time making recharges back to them.
That makes sense, thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Raymond.
I've lost it. There was a payment for some forensic accounting.
Was that the LGRC? Yeah. That's the report that we commissioned on the AGAD.
So that's in it on top of, we've already paid £1,500 towards that.
Yeah.
So
That's the final account.
So it's coming, we budgeted 5,000.
We budgeted 5,000, so it's coming under
Just over 4. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. It's the name of it.
Any further questions? Could I have someone that move? Anyone? Councillor Blackwell, Councillor Scotland. All in favour? Any against? Any extensions?
No extension.
Thank you. Moving on to 7B, replacement of extraction equipment. What was being presented on?
That's why I'm laughing, because Phil's running upstairs to get it.
Oh.
I forgot to bring it down with me.
Bear with us.
Yeah. Yeah, what this extraction's about, I can explain some of it. Right, down on the bottom floor, we've always had a problem, and some of the councils that have been on a long time will remember this. We've always had a problem with that toilet, the gents' toilet down there, and the extraction equipment that we put in, I don't know how many years ago, it's now past its efficient working. So we've got a quoting for this extraction equipment to be replaced. Likewise, I believe there's one in the cafe, which was done at the same time to make sure that we comply with various rules and regs at the time. I think that now is also out of it probably doesn't qualify for the current regulations, but it's something that I think has been going on for quite a while, and we've finally got quotes for it, so we're going to bring it to you tonight. We have got money in the budget, left in the maintenance budget, to replace these items. I'm waiting for the quote to come down. It's called filling. Yeah, it's called filling. You keep talking.
Perhaps just the experience to fill it.
Why are we paying for extraction time for the cafe? Is that a commercial concern?
It is, yes, but because, right, and this is, again, when I get a quote, this is what I was going to explain to you. There's a bit of an offset there, in that they are replacing the doors downstairs. You know, I think it's the door to the, there's like a store down there, on that corner.
Yeah.
They're replacing the door on that to make it into a fire door, and they're paying for that. So I think the idea is that there might be a bit of a trade-off, because actually that is the fabric of the building, and in theory we should be paying for that. So, but I'm not being completely au fait with the discussions on this. I think the discussions have come before I started. So I think when the assistant clerk comes back, I think you will find that I asked exactly the same question. Why are we paying for the cafe?
Does it work out in savings?
I don't know, that's what I've got to work out. But it's just to, if you agree that we go ahead with this work, I think it falls under the current ceiling for work to be carried out. If it doesn't, then we'll have to go out for extra quotes anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just to get the approval for this work.
I mean, I don't know what members feel about how it's subject to the 15 needs of everything costing. That's the door.
Have we got local tradesmen?
It's a company, I don't know what they are, but they're a company. Are they a local company?
Business garden.
Based in Scarborough.
Have we tried local? Because at the end of the day, why I'm saying it's the local that pay our precinct.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Alf. Councillor Smith's got a...
I have Councillor Hall first.
Right. Oh, sorry, I didn't see Councillor Hall.
Getting the false
You need
teeth.
a door for lot cheaper than that.
Sorry?
You need a door for lot cheaper than that.
Well, so I was just... Phil, can you just... If you remember, I asked you, why are we paying for the one for the cafe? And it was a trade-off for the...
Got your council
fire door that they're putting in on the...
Yeah, the 2 new doors.
Oh, 2 new doors.
2 new doors, yeah.
Right.
So they're putting the 2 new doors in.
Yeah.
And this is a replacement of the old extraction.
Yeah, I've sort of explained that.
Yeah.
But the trade-off in terms of what we're paying for the cafe, the trade-off is against the new doors.
Yeah.
But do we know that it works out equally?
I think it's a reasonable exchange.
Yeah.
The chairman of joint management was in agreement with
their suggestion, and then I suggested I would bring it to full council to make sure that it's full council happy with the decision.
I've got Councillor Amanda Smith, then Councillor McLaren, then Councillor Lehman. So Councillor Amanda Smith.
They're the two that I just would like to make members aware. I won't ask which you are. Make members aware that actually in the last financial year we also paid £2,000 for a new sink in the cafe as well. So I don't know if that needs putting into the equation or not.
Oh, apparently that was paid back through a recharge. Yeah.
It didn't show the councils having been paid back, and I remember querying it and I wasn't told. So
can we just recheck that, please? Councillor McLaren.
I was just wondering why it's quotes coming from a Scarborough company, not a local company.
They're a company that we use to do work already in the building. I think that's why we're going after a quote from them, but we can get alternative quotes.
The museum has gone out for a quote. So they've come back with the most favourable quote, basically.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
it the only quote that you got?
I can't answer that. They don't answer that
Yeah,
question.
it actually, if you look at it, it does say with the Museum of Planet Art Gallery. So it's, did we get the quotation?
They got the quotation.
Yeah. So
It's
they
the
got the quotation.
It's the joint management, it's obviously gone through joint management at some point in the past. That's what's happening. And joint management have discussed this previously. So I mean, I can't answer any of those questions. It's up to.
Yeah. If you can, I mean, if we agree that the work needs to be done, then we can make sure that we get alternative quotes and we can look at local companies.
Yeah. I think so, because if we're trying to look after our local residents, then I think we should be offering business to local businesses to fulfill.
Yeah.
Councillor Lehman, then I've got Councillor Abbott, and then McLaren.
Our paperwork is in that message. It kind of sounds in enough knots. Why don't we do the stuff we're supposed to do and let the museum and the gallery do the stuff that they're supposed to do? This quid pro quo might look good, but it leaves us open to question.
Agree. I think so. I agree.
So I would suggest we cancel the start again.
Yeah.
I mean, we decide what's ours, and they decide what's theirs. We've got the joint management committee to work out who's whose. And then that's it.
Right. Well, it isn't as straightforward as that, but obviously I haven't been involved in any of the discussions.
I'm not saying you.
No, I wasn't saying anything about Labour Council then, please don't think that. No, I'm taking offence in any way, I'm not that easily offended. No, it will have been something that will have been discussed at joint management in the past. Now, because we have to have this working relationship with them, we've always had this trying to work together on things. And where they are carrying out work that is work that they are carrying out, but it has an impact on the fabric of the building, such as fire doors, etc. And they are paying for that in their bit as the whole of the work that they're getting done, right? And obviously it's been thought as a sensible way round it of us to pay for their part of that. We recharge other things, you know, if we pay for work as part of a group thing and it's theirs, then we recharge it to them. This is the one that Councillor Smith's just raised.
We are the landlord, basically, for the...
If it was as simple as that, Councillor,
I
we would have had this sorted out.
By doing this sort of thing,
the only way we can sort this out of who is responsible for this, that and the other is to go back to the High Court. Because that High Court judgment from 1948 has absolutely no relevance to everything that is in this building today, the way the building works today. We worked on coal then. We had a boiler room and we fed it with coal.
Councillor.
Right, thank you, Chair. Why I like Councillor Carver, want to invite locals into bidding is that it wasn't many months ago that the toilets needed an electrical assessment on the safety of the toilets. And the thing was, it was brought to the council and Clarkson put a bid in for the thing, and it was accepted by the council. Clarkson asked the council or the clerks for certain paperwork for each of the toilets. And we got nothing. So them hanging around.
Yeah, they work to a time scale and they've got to book physics, you know, they've got to book other jobs in and they can't be hanging around.
Well, there wasn't too much that it, they never got any response from the paperwork.
Yeah.
And to me, I didn't. The quotation on it was £2,300 for the lot. And that's local trading. They don't have to travel from the miles. The local trading. And the reputable players
I think, unfortunately, Councillor Abbott, we are living in the aftermath of possibly certain things that were...
They need highlighting, Chair.
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's administratively, right, and this does not just include things like this, it includes things like the Danforth toilets money that I've just circulated tonight, things like Christmas lights, things like the staffing that I've highlighted in the email to you about one member of staff not being underpaid for nearly a year. Administratively, there has been a lot of shortcomings. Can't change it. It's done. Can't do anything about it. All we can do is make it work now.
It works now.
Yeah. There is absolutely no problem in us going out to local traders. In my time, we used to use Jason Draper, what was Site Right, who used to do an awful lot of work for us. I'm out of touch with those local traders at the moment, but we absolutely can go out to tender on this. What we're asking is, we need to get approval of the council for us to actually go to that next step.
I've got 3 people waiting to speak, so we're going to do that and then we'll come back to that decision. Councillor Mulherron.
Mine's quite a random one. It's about the VAT. If we get the quote, do we pay VAT as opposed to the museum getting the quote?
Right. If we get the quote, we pay the VAT, but we claim the VAT back. If they get the quote and they pay it, then they can't claim the VAT back.
So it would be better if we did get these quotes from in our name as opposed to museums.
Yeah.
Councillor End, I'm going to let you come back very quickly, and then I've got Councillor Riddles.
Yeah, thank you. I just read this quote, and I'm pretty sure that it says here, the unit will group can qualify a remote time located in the lift plant's room. I am very, very, very sure that you cannot have stuff that is not part of the lift installation in the lift plant room. So putting it there is a no-no. We're looking at somewhere else.
Thank you. We've heard that, so obviously we'll take note of that.
So which point is that? Just
this is item toilets. Unit will be controlled by a remote time located in the lift plant room.
Yeah, which plant room? Are they talking about the downstairs plant room?
The lift plant room. The plant room where the lift motor is. That's adjacent to the ladies' toilet.
Oh, just say lift plant room actually. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, do
that
that.
out. We'll absolutely follow up.
Yeah.
Councillor Riddles.
Just concerning the inspection, has that been done for the toilets?
What?
The inspection of all the electrical work in the toilets?
What, the replacement of the extraction?
We're
No,
talking
the
about
electrical.
extraction fan, Councillor.
Yeah,
Oh, the work that I've no idea.
Because that was put down as urgent, because it was
the two
Oh, it's on the toilets in town.
We're talking about this building.
building toilet, yeah. Sorry, which toilet? In the building or?
no, it's the toilet in town.
Oh.
That's what Alf was talking about.
Well, when we had that Danfer mention, I think we did discuss with Danfer which toilets were to be inspected, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Members, we're both coming in at this from
So Danfer,
yeah. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, members, I'm going to keep it down as the agenda because at the moment we are talking, all these are points are noted, so please don't think we aren't taking note of, but we are on the agenda at the moment for the toilets within this building. So we have it in front of us for consideration for this quote.
Yeah.
So it's up to members to put forward a motion what they wish to do on it.
Yeah.
So I said that. Does a member want to do that?
Well, I'd like to say, sorry,
Councillor Herod.
I was going to say that we move to investigate, to get other quotes in our name for this work, because obviously the work does need doing.
Councillor
I'm concerned about the VAT issue here. You were saying that if we do it with the VAT back and they do it, they can't?
Yeah.
You can't take work on behalf of another person just to avoid VAT. There must be some law in it.
We're maintaining the building.
Yeah, but it's about the maintenance of the building.
It would be very interesting, obviously we're not going to...
Yeah, if it's the fabric of the building. Okay, you're right. It's
Depends
our
what the turnover is.
responsibility. I appreciate that. So,
It's still that reg, it's that reg. It's
can we
irrelevant.
defer this, please, and wait till the new park? Because I get a bit involved.
Yeah, but it's that
I've
reg.
got a counter...
You've got your turnover over 80.
Yeah.
You've got your turnover over 85,000, so you're that reg.
Yeah.
If your turnover is below that,
Working out more or less.
okay.
Yeah.
In which case they should be that
I don't want
reg.
the council to be supporting anything that we shouldn't be doing if we should be. So that's a given. Councillor Harbour, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Right, so I've got a
Councillor
proposer and a seconder. All in favour?
No.
That's unanimous. Thank you, members.
Right, I've got another point I want to just quickly raise on that finance. Right, we had a bill back earlier in the year from Compass Point, which are the company that were doing the neighbourhood plan. And I know it's on here somewhere. Yeah. I'm just finding the right budget heading. But I'm feeling it's about £4 something like that. Yeah. Oh, I'll be able to find some budget heading. Right, the other day we received another bill for £3,200, which is 64 hours at 64 hours at £50 per hour for stage 3 of the proposal. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we have no money left in the budget for this. So where are we supposed to find this money from?
We did pass a motion and I believe the budget was originally £10,000. It was then reduced down to 5,000 because of we got lost part of the grant. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we had 3,000 this year.
And then we had a motion to take money from the Christmas Light Reserve.
Yeah, well that's the bill that we've already paid, I think.
And though there was money there previously.
7,000 this year and 3 next.
7,000 this year and 3 next, and that was the motion.
Right.
So sorry, so when is this the final?
That should be the final bill, hopefully, for this year. I'm just looking at the steering group members. And then there will be a further bill next financial year.
Right, so we need to, when we are setting budget, make sure that we put enough in for next year.
Yeah,
But
it was agreed
that this will be taken from the Christmas lights.
yeah.
When we ask you to suspend standing orders, and we'll let the deficit speak, he's well over this.
Well, it's only a simple question
Oh, yeah, fine, but
of whether, you know, what I'm asking is, as far as I'm concerned, there's not enough money left in the budget. Where do you want to take it from? But what you're saying, it's already been agreed
It was already agreed.
that it would be taken from the Christmas lights. So we need to transfer.
confirmation.
Yeah, thank you.
So transfer from Christmas lights. So you're wiring that amount.
Yeah, into the...
Yeah, from
Next
transfer.
Christmas light reserve.
Yeah, into the neighbourhood
Into the
fund.
neighbourhood fund.
Yeah.
Actually, it turned out to be a really good decision.
So,
Yeah.
so in regards to... So
What can I say?
we were looking at the per hour figure as well. So that must have been decided by council earlier. Was that decided last year? By council?
Sorry,
Yeah, right, the price that per hour, right, we're assuming that that was all agreed and the original, that we would pay this person £50 an hour by the council would agree to that?
I don't believe so.
I don't remember specifically agreeing to that rate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay, it's just that we need to check that
We were just concerned that it seemed quite a lot of money per hour.
we're paying the right amount of money to what council agreed to.
We don't get to see the paperwork, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you agreed to it. You may not have seen the paperwork.
So you,
Well, we trusted the clerk.
Well, you've been taught wrong.
you were just concerned that it was...
We're just making sure that we do not get into the same situation again.
I mean, the thing is, we can't have an open-ended checkbook on this.
No,
No, we
Exactly.
can't.
Balance and check on it.
So,
we do.
we as staff are performing due diligence.
We've only managed them. Public could
So,
say
if
something.
council say it's been agreed,
I'm going to just let you
we're going to have to take your words for it.
On my recollection, we agreed the total sums,
Yeah.
but we didn't actually agree the
Hourly rate.
hourly rate.
Yeah.
We agreed the overall.
So overall, what was agreed in terms of what the town council were funding?
The consultation for the...
So what was
Yeah,
the
no,
figure?
what was the figures? Because you said there was so much for one year and so much for another year.
That was will remain, that's what was left to do.
Yeah.
But what it was from day one, I can't remember.
And from day one, it was covered by a government grant, so we weren't paying anything.
That's right. But there's got to be paperwork on this.
Did you see the contract that was signed between...
It was originally, the government grants did pay for all of this initially, so I'm assuming, that it was set up before I joined the council. I'm assuming it was all agreed and, bona fide people will use.
Yeah, so we come back to this.
Yeah, we're just concerned that we're paying too much per hour, basically.
Yeah.
I think you would pay that for, because of her skill set, I think you would pay that for someone.
It's still quite...
There's got to be something that is agreed with.
Yeah.
It's professional.
Yeah, we need to
We need to look at the contract.
We do need to go back and look to make.
So
There's too many questions coming across this floor this evening, and I think that we need to pay due diligence and look at this.
Nobody will find out attention.
we don't know. We can't find out, can we?
Councillor Madison, and that'll be the last point. Because we're getting confused the more I'm allowing
I'm
us to
sorry,
be.
I'm going to confuse it even further, but if you're looking into this, can you also please check, because the actual grant that we received came from one company whose name I can't remember, but you paid it back to Landworks.
I can answer that.
Yes, I've seen that one.
And I followed this screen and I never got an answer. I don't understand how we paid it back to Landworks, but we received it from a different company.
Yeah, perhaps I think...
I'm going to suspend standing orders to allow people to get some... Please, if he's got any clarity on this, it would be useful. I think it's on now.
Okay.
in the 24-25 financial year, you had a locality grant from locality.org. The handling agent was Groundwork, so you paid it back to Groundwork. That explains that one. In the 25-26 financial year, the current government decided to cancel all of the neighbourhood plan funding. Consequently, in about May or June after the budget, this council passed a motion for 7,200 in the current financial year and then 2,000 in 26-27.
So, Andy, can I just ask, have you seen the contracts?
I haven't seen any contracts, no.
No, between the neighbourhood plan steering group and...
No, the steering group hasn't been party to any of that. It was agreed with Michael King was the clerk at the time.
So, right.
Well, there's no, I mean, it's historic, and I mean, we can go.
You can ask.
Yeah, we can ask. I mean, it's
thank you, Mr. Jefferson. I reinstate standing orders.
We should have, I would have thought, a copy of the contract, so I can.
We're going to get some clarity on this, members,
but if that would work out actually, because I think we've paid £4,000 already. This bill's for 3,200, so that's 7,200. But we need to via the amount that wasn't included in the budget from the Christmas lights. So that's okay, we can go ahead with that, but we'll look for the contract and see what we can find out.
I think it's not so early, we shouldn't be.
Well, it just seems a little bit...
It's important that we check these things.
Okay, that's it for me.
So, 7C, the second draft of the budget, which we've all had circulated this evening, I'm going to hand over to you on that one, Kelly.
Yeah, well, as I said in my email when I sent round the second draft of the budget, there's certainly queries in relation to DANFO, which I've copied you the spreadsheet that I've prepared, which shows that there was that there's a shortfall potentially in the cashless figures that haven't been reported. And if you look at the comparison between the April and October figures, the cashless is about 90% of what the cash amount is. So in theory, and I've used a very conservative estimate of 50%, the 5 months that we have not had the cashless figure reported to us, we need to get that sorted out. I've asked for it, it hasn't been forthcoming yet. But to me, it's potentially going to be 25,000, there could be more. That's in the overall takings, right? This is not money that would come to the town council, right? This would be in the overall takings. But what I've also asked them to do is I want them to verify the cashless figures. Because how do I know, as RFO, that the cashless figure that they are saying they have taken, how do I know that? I need to see their accounts and see where that money is being paid into their account from these various machines at our toilets. So that's one thing I'm not overly happy with in actually being able to do the budget tonight, right? Second thing is I've also uncovered in terms of the staffing budget several anomalous things, but I've discovered that one member of staff, their salary pay scale for some reason was never updated, so we've been underpaying them for over a year. There is no correlation anymore between contracts and salary scale payments. It all used to be kept on spreadsheets and we would know exactly what somebody's contract said, what their contracted hours were, what they did in terms of their hourly rate, and then when we had appraisals, if somebody felt that they should get an incremental rise, it was all kept on a spreadsheet. And when you came to do the budget, you knew exactly what you were dealing with, and that information, I can't find it, so I've redone it as best I can, and this is why I'm picking up things that are wrong. So consequently, how many other things are there that aren't quite right with this budget? I've worked on figures that I've taken from our computer, from our records, but things like that wouldn't necessarily show up. And you cannot confidently say, if we potentially have more income from downfall than is being shown, how can we set a budget for next year at this point in time?
I think just taking that on board as well, we've clarified with North Yorkshire Council that we do have until the 23rd of January to submit ours, and it would be very silly of us to rush through this evening when the PAM has come up with some questionable areas. And I think that after Christmas, a meeting purely for the budget is in order. And it, again, gives all members time to go through this draft budget and really get to it, because we do not want to be in a position where we've said yes and then we found wanting again. Councillor Riddles.
Did you find out about the 50,000?
Not yet. I've been too busy doing it. It's still there, it's still on my list.
Yeah, so there are, obviously there's a lot of areas that need reviewing, and Pam is getting to grips so much more than we've had.
It's so difficult when the information that you need, that should be there and that should be kept periodically up to date, hasn't been done. It's so difficult to try and work backwards on these things.
It's been a nightmare.
It has been.
No, it has been very difficult.
Yeah.
Because there's been no information whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we were left, or the council was left in a situation where I opened, when I arrived, there was a dozen blue envelope folders just shoved on the shelf. And when I started going through those, there was invoices that hadn't been paid. There was nothing written on the outside of the folders to say, well, these are outstanding invoices. And there was bits in one folder, there was bits in another folder. It's just been an absolute nightmare. We're doing our best, we want to get it right, and I think to rush it would be a mistake. Then we would be open to criticism.
Yeah.
Quite rightly so.
Councillor Steve Smith.
Thank you. Just on the downflow issue, looking at the report, there are maintenance issues with toilets that need to be looked at. I feel that ideally we get new clerk in and we get a load, but I think we need to look at putting something in the budget for the maintenance of toilets, because we're sadly way behind with that.
We had a good discussion with about maintenance.
Did they give you a rough figure?
No, we didn't talk figures.
We just know what's required.
What's required. But having said that, you've got to find the money for it, and it doesn't come out of thin air.
No, that's what I'm trying to say in the budget.
So we need to know what we're asking for.
We need that feedback from down
so we know
the situation.
Councillor
Amanda Smith.
Yes, going back to the mess the finances are in, what I'm really...
Not anymore.
Sorry.
Going
back to the mess the finances are in, I'm really, really concerned because not only were we paying an IFO, but we were also paying a project officer, and in the last year we paid them £23,319. That's on top of our IFO. How do we manage to get ourselves in this state? But more importantly, how do we make sure we don't run there again?
Well, we're paying due diligence to this. We can only go underneath what I'm very mindful of what I'm saying here, because we can't move in such an area. But let's say that there were areas that were lacking, and as Pam's just pointed out, there was folders just put on the shelf with invoices not covering anything. Now, if you are bringing on somebody, you expect them to be able to fulfil that employment role. And we're all up to date now. Reconciliation. There's control back in that office. And all we're saying is now that that's been revealed, we want to make sure we don't go back there again.
With this now, I was doing the reconciliations for December, when I started.
For December last year, December 24, right? Phil had to do those reconciliations when he started.
For December.
For December 24.
And obviously all this wasn't coming to light because we aren't in the office doing that. It's only come to light when Phil came on board and he started doing that work. And obviously since Pam's come on board, getting to the bottom of this budget.
Yeah, because there were things delegated to the assistant clerk that should have been carried out by the clerk Arico. And haven't been. So Phil took it on board. He's managed to get everything up to date. He's doing all the inputting, etc., with my oversight. And we're getting there. Slowly but sure we're getting there. But it's not going to happen overnight.
Can I just clarify? This mess has just occurred in the previous 12 months, or is it more historic than that?
I would say the last 12 months, the financial side of things, certainly the record keeping is being dire. Previous to that, obviously there were issues around things, but it's quite difficult because I'm a fashion girl and I like my paper records.
Everyone works differently, don't they? I like their hard copy.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I did ask the new town clerk that was coming up. But, you know, it's all very well keeping things on computers, but when you're dealing with invoices and things like that, you know, you've got to make sure and having that paper copy there and being able to go through and put on when it's been paid and what it was paid, what date and everything else. Being able to do all that and look back, and we've just been broken in the dark. So we're getting there, but that's why I'm not confident to go ahead with the budget at this stage.
We just need this extra month that we've got. It would be silly not to take advantage of the position we're in at this moment. Councillor Heron, and then we'll...
Now on the right bit of the facilities management, why are the water charges 23,000 for this year?
I don't think those are all for this building. I think there's some of the toilet bills because we went to a new
There's a
company.
separate bill for the toilets.
Yeah, but they, unfortunately, the company that we're sorry, as I understand it, the company that we've gone with cover all the toilets, all the water, right? And it's not broken down.
So we started breaking it down into the inputting as requested.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because it's all the one company is basically providing all the water for all the town council's assets.
Yeah. But we need to break it down so that we know what it's costing us for the toilets and what it's costing us for the building. But at the moment, we haven't got that far.
I think that's what you were going to come in with, wasn't it?
Yes.
Did you want to...
This financial year that happened. Previous financial year, we were
Just to comment of what happened to the 15 or 20 bags of documents that Adam threw away.
We hindsight's great for the
I'm sorry, I'm not...
I know, I'm just saying, we're going on what they were doing.
However, we're getting in control of things now, and obviously...
I do feel that the new town clerk, I mean, I asked him some quite pointed questions about how he operated and how he dealt with particular things. I'm very hopeful that he will do things in a proper manner and he will keep on top of things. But you have to bear in mind, right, and this is something that councillors have never understood, the phenomenal amount of work that comes from this council chamber, in addition to the rest of the work that we have to undertake, right? A 3-minute decision is months of work. I do not think that councillors understand that. We do what we can, and we get it done when we can. And yes, sometimes I will always hold my hand up. Steve, Amanda, Heather, you know I've been on this council, I've been serving this council a long time, and I've always held my hand up and said, sorry, I got it wrong. And I've always done that. We're trying to put things right. We're trying desperately to put things right. And, you know, we're not perfect. We try our best. That's all you can ask of us.
And we appreciate that as well, Pam.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in the last two comments from Councillor Abbott and then Councillor Blackwell.
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate.
Councillor Abbott first.
Madam Chair, it seems a shame that we're coming now to the end of this year. We've got the situation where we are now, but all this information was kept locked up and not shared out. There's 19 councils. 19 of us are all responsible. We all take to that, the duty of care, which everybody keeps shouting about, but they aren't sharing it. We're all capable, we're all intelligent people, we all have the gifts. It should have been shared. It could have been stopped, it could have been shared out, we brought some professional people in.
The thing is, Al, we shouldn't have
I'm
to.
not criticizing this,
No, I'm not taking it as...
what I'm saying is...
We employed a town clerk and an RFO, and that's the job description. So when he says he's doing things, and I met with him every week and asked if everything was on board and everything was going, and I was assured every single time that everything was all right. And when I do that, I'm not asking to look at the finances, have you paid an invoice? I shouldn't have to do that, as no one in this room should have to do. When you're employing someone, that's the basics, making sure that the invoices are paid for a council. Clearly, when we've got somebody coming in who's looking at it.
It was never shared among...
Absolutely, if we'd known this in the beginning, then we'd have been in a different position now. Councillor Abbott. Councillor Blackwell.
Thank you, sorry. So I'd like to reiterate what you said and thank you and all the, you know, we know how, I think some of us and probably most of us do know how much work goes into that, to be fair. But we could help potentially by, as a council, when we put motions forward and it involves work, we could actually ask the question, how long do you estimate that might take you? You then give us an answer, we can't give us an answer, we can then maybe decide to vote based on that and whether we think actually it is a good use of your time.
Yeah.
And then also the new park itself would help us by also putting back to the council, if we don't ask the question, just so you're all aware, this will take this amount of time, which to be fair, you have done in the past. So I just wanted to sort of...
I think it is that there is a work priorities
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to be accepted first.
I mean, there were certain priorities that I had to sort of take on when because I only give 3 months. So there were certain priorities, and you know, some things have shifted slightly because of the priorities come on, but we're trying to stick to, and the budget was one of those main ones. Sorting out downfall was another one. The governance issues, we're getting there, we're moving forward, but as they know, councils take forever to do things. So we do try. But I think if we could just defer this till
Are we looking
New Year?
at 17 in connection with this part? Because I am the last member to declare, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to 17 now or defer? We'll see.
Well, I think the two,
they are linked.
they're linked together, and to me, until you've got your draft budget and you say, yes, we're happy with that.
We've got to have a clear picture of consideration of anything.
But if we want to do anything extra, we've then got to say, well, right, if we want to do the witness signage and we want to do the active travel, where are we going to find this money from? And if we haven't got enough spare in the existing budget, then you've made the decision, right, do we want to increase the preset to do those things? So that's the way I see it.
Baseline.
Yes, you need a baseline first.
So with that in mind, members, do I have someone who will move that we defer the budget until January? Yeah, and obviously for an additional meeting, not purely the budget meeting. So that's been moved by Councillor Steve Smith. Are you seconding, Councillor?
I'll second it. Just put a next point on this. Signage. It was put to this council a lot of years ago. Various organisations were quite happy to prepare or pay for the signage, the free signage that go around with it. All they asked for, and one of them was Lions Club, the other one was Grocery, which got their logo on the actual board, and they were quite happy.
It's something we can take into consideration.
Yeah. In other words, there is people out there quite good.
Yeah.
Well, when I think civic society, I think
Exactly.
that would be quite
they would
interested.
like it.
So I mean, perhaps it's a group of people, and we, you know, with the replacement and with the signage, perhaps we can find some.
Just think off the office without
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not going to be on it now.
We're not having that, we're just going to have we're not having North Yorkshire.
No.
And I'll go on record on that one. So lovely.
So, Councillor Smith, Councillor
Seconded by Councillor Abbott.
that we defer C and D1 and D2.
All in favour?
Yeah,
unanimous.
Just on a question, are we looking to do this before new clerk comes in?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is have a meeting purely to discuss the budget sometime in early January. So probably looking at the 5th or 6th, probably around about the 13th.
Yeah.
So that'll be Tuesday the 13th.
Yeah, that's just clarification.
Yeah.
Very diary.
So it'll give us a couple of weeks after the Christmas period and everybody can really look at this. And it gives, obviously one of the main criteria of this is getting some feedback from them.
Absolutely.
And they've got to deliver, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So right, that was good.
That's fine.
Thank you. So moving on to the question about
the Cemetery Commission.
So agenda item number 8. Sorry, we're just leaving that within it now. Yeah, apologies. Moving on to agenda item number 8, Town Development and Harbour.
So have we got to do 7?
1 and 2. Well, that's where we've just discussed. I've got a little bit confused there as well. Yeah. We've already decided that we're waiting to get the baseline of the budget correct before we can look into increase the precept to cover anything like the signage and the active travel. So we can't look at those.
70 and 72.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I did do 17 and I was
I thought we agreed that when we put that in the budget, but I'm considering
Yeah. So we've gone on to agenda item 8, looking at 8A, the new cemetery provision.
Well, this was raised at the last meeting on the 25th. Could we put it on the agenda under the Town Development and Harbour? We've had the lady from that's.
No, that's Fiona.
Oh, sorry, it was Fiona. Yeah, sorry, Fiona. Her feelings on the cemetery provision. I mean, where do you want to go about this? What do you want to write to North Yorkshire?
I've got Councillor Smith first and then Councillor Mulherron.
Yes, going back at least 5 years, when the new cemetery was first raised, the initial place that it was going to go was on Lampool, exactly where it's going to go now. That was completely ruled out as being completely unsuitable. There's no footpath to it. We were using green space, which actually that green space would be promised we would be keeping when the development planning policy, because we'd be so short of green space for our kids to play. And now we seem to have gone full circle. We had various other lots of land that came up and were ruled out, and near the Abbey, towards the Abbey, but that was ruled out as too steep. Then we went to land behind the back of the golf course, That was what was definitely going to go through, but then that appears now to be housing. Larval has been considered and studied, and it was ruled out as being totally unsuitable. We need to go back and find out if it's been done once, it needs to be done again.
Councillor Morgan, and then I've got
Thank you
Councillor
very
Harris.
much. As a slight stalker of the local plan, even when I wasn't living here, the site behind Love Lane was designated after 2014 as a potential development area, and it was suggested then it should be a cemetery, and it would be the perfect place, I believe, for a cemetery. It's on a major roadway, it has the bus services that Councillor Shackleton and it mentioned, but it's lovely and open. What have you? Okay, so you can go and spend time with your loved ones, and you've got all that lovely fresh air around you. So, thank you.
Councillor, I've got Councillor Houston first, then Councillor Abbott, and then Councillor Riddles.
The Helldale Cemetery, when it was first set up, was half within Rugby and half outside Rugby. Does the plot have to be within the boundaries of the current Rugby Town Council?
It's not to be specifically in the parish, but you assume that it has to be close to the town.
So it could be just outside the boundaries. We're not constrained to only be land within the boundary of the town.
Not in respect of the, as long as I think what people don't want, I assume, is to travel that far to visit the cemetery. But I think what it is, Jonathan, is I think the land is basically in the ownership of North Yorkshire Council.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Councillor Abbott, and then Councillor Riddles, and then Councillor McLaren.
Thank you, Chair. Larval Lane goes to the cemetery. We'll go back some years when Councillor Turner and Vivian Knight fought no end to save a playing field on Airedale. But it was a very nasty fight really. And because that, you'll obviously explain because there was another area which was Larval Lane near Airedale playing field. The argument was lost for Airedale playing field because of the site there. They didn't know at that particular time that Larval Hall had in their deeds the land written as part of the community area in their deeds. Elector Robinson confirmed this to me some 4 or 5 years ago, that their hotel had the land written into the deeds. Then about 10 years ago, we had a meeting at the Rugby Club. The councillors, a lot of councillors, Rugby Town councillors, Scarborough councillors, and the regional Rugby Club, with the residents of Love Lane. And the residents of Love Lane said, and it was Fiona that suggested it, that why don't we go for the golf club? And there was mentioned at the golf club, about the golf club, is that the residents of Love Lane were probably objective. The residents were at that meeting and there was no objection. Onto the RAF estate where the entrance is, onto that field, the police officer and his wife have the stretch of land from Love Lane into the RAF estate, and that stretch of land, he said, would give for the access to the cemetery. They would give their land for the access to the cemetery. We moved on to it. But the residents of Love Lane, coming from Fiona, is still the same. The feeling is still the same. It was quote, Scarborough Council got the cemetery committee people up to say you have to have easy access, you've got to have adequate drainage, and you've got to have this kind of look at the Love Lane side, the golf club side, met all the requirements. But we have a certain element, and unfortunately they want housing on there. And it's not that isn't affordable housing. that isn't going to ever be affordable house. Because you can guarantee half a million quid for one of them houses because the house got to come there. Why? And the argument on for that, going back to Harbour Lane, is we have the river escrow Harbour Lane. And the flow, the decomposing of bodies will go down to the river escrow. We have, all this has to be done way big, and the residents of that area, and certainly with Sandra, will fight.
I have to concur with what you're saying there, Councillor Abbott, because the trade-off for us losing Hilrydale playing field was the fact that you've got this green area at Blackpool Lane, and that was the trade-off. They used that throughout the whole fight, and that went to the European Court.
Yes.
It was extremely nasty, but that was what they laid on all the way through that. Councillor Riddles.
The residents of Brook Lane had their own group and they want the cemetery. That's dangerous.
Can I make a suggestion? Obviously, it's North Yorkshire.
They want to sell it.
Well, no, North Yorkshire people who are going to do this cemetery provision. Why don't we invite somebody here from North Yorkshire so that we can talk to them directly? Yeah?
We
No, an officer. We're talking about an officer.
We have had that. They have come up with that. So, it's still valuable for them, money-wise.
I think it would be useful though that we could really put the argument to them and let them feel, rather than a letter. I think it would be useful that we come and face the council and say,
I'll go back to the group and we'll get it better.
Councillor Parrott.
I was just going to say exactly what Councillor Riddles said, is that, you know, the residents of Brook Lane as a group want the centre there. Also, there's another spanner in the works because the golf club wants it back. Apparently they're making noises now because the golf club's fallen away. And they've started making noises about requesting that piece of land back.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because the land comes underneath the council.
Yeah.
So they will use it, unfortunately, for whatever they want. But absolutely, if someone wants to move, that we write to invite an officer here as a matter of urgency. So because this is getting urgent, isn't it? Moved by Councillor Abbott, seconded by Councillor Mulherron. All in favour that this council write here? Yeah. All in favour. Thank you. 8B, regular public opening of the Victoria's Farewell.
Yeah. This is something that came up again. And obviously it's our building. How do you want to do it? How often do you want to do it? Do we want to do it ourselves? Do we want to involve the Civic Society? Or is it the local history group? I can't remember which one.
Civic
Society is what they're doing.
Could I suggest that members have a visit down there so they know what they're talking about?
You like one at a time?
Yeah. Small groups.
We can all go at once, but
you can only get one person in it.
You will.
I think it might be useful if all members have a look, know where it is, where, you know, what's involved.
know what we're talking about.
And then we can have an informed discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, shall we arrange something then after the holidays?
Yeah.
Could something not go on take a video?
You don't have to go, but I think for anybody who hasn't been and wants to go, it would be useful. We do have new members that haven't seen it.
I know,
It's lovely. It's well worth going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we ask the clerk to arrange an invite going out to everybody, we'll arrange some dates in the new year. Yeah?
Can we have a proposal?
Can I have a proposal for that? Proposed by Councillor Blackwell, seconded by Councillor McLaren. All in favour? Thank you, members. Report back on the items raised by a resident regarding the Harbour. This was with the laws and that.
Yeah, it was in down
There was
a lot of fresh.
a lot of fresh coming down, quite a lot of debris and detritus from further up the river that was coming down, which happened whether we get everywhere this week. But not a lot of it has been washed up on tape.
We have taken a lot out as well. It's
taken out.
there for removal.
Yeah.
So it's all been taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Harbour
I
office
mean,
do,
it will
to
happen.
be fair, keep a tight eye
Yeah.
on that, and they do get the workboat out and remove it from the river.
I mean,
It's just that it's running
when you get everywhere, it's going to bring it down.
But you know, I think you really should get back in touch with the Harbour office and ask for a report. We never get a report anymore. I mean, and we weren't getting one when we had the Harbour committee. So I think we need to revisit that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Get united.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's to that members give a report.
Well, we can raise that then.
Chase the reports and how we use it.
But the Harbour master himself used to bring a report.
It might be worth inviting the
I think we should have a report from the actual Harbour master.
along to the meeting.
Yeah. Proposal seconded, please, for that. Proposal, Councillor Abbott, seconded, Councillor Coghlan, all in favour? Unanimous, thank you. And the last item on the agenda, whether the location of the former weighbridge is on Harbour land or not. Do we know?
This was Councillor Abbott that raised this.
Yeah.
It is definitely in Harbour.
It is.
Down there.
Yeah.
Still coming.
Right. Because I've no idea where it is. Where is it?
It's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It used to be on the entrance to the coal yard.
Yeah.
Is it not beside the...
It's past Storm Road, when you walk towards where the old back was.
No, you're not allowed to tell them.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there's one, there's a stone structure was there, like the country around there. I would just say like a sort of private place. There's a stone structure there, and you can see where the way we was, that thing used to go over, and the scale of it was really inside there, and that's how it was operated.
Yeah, but it's been removed now, hasn't it?
I don't know what's been left of it now. You know. I know the church area.
Suspend standing orders. So to come up.
If you're going along, you know where Coach Marine's shed is?
Yeah.
Just in front of it, there's a tarmac area between that and the level crossing.
Yeah.
And that's where it was.
Yeah.
And we're not sure, but as far as we know, that maybe just the surface material was removed because there is some question as to whether apparently these things had mercury in the bottom as well.
I always thought it was located further up near the cabin and that area.
There is something in there.
So, right, well, thank you. We used it standing orders.
So the question was whether the location of the former weighbridge is on Harbour land.
Yes.
And it is.
Yes, it is.
The judge said so.